Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new budget with me video. We're actually going to be budgeting out our yearly budget for 2023. So we're pretty much the last day of November of 2022. So I wanted to get this going for you guys just so you have enough time to start thinking about your yearly budget if you haven't already. So we're going to jump on my Excel sheet and take a look at what we have planned for next year. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is an Excel sheet that I've created in Excel. I do have it for sale on Etsy. A lot of the sources on the side are just written as like a generic name, and you can change those names if you want to, name it whatever you'd like to name. So basically the basis of the yearly template is so I can have kind of a plan for the year, and I can kind of see everything at a glance, but also so I can track everything and kind of go back to last year to see how did it actually go. Did we accomplish what we said we were going to accomplish, or are we spending more in some areas than we think we are? And then that helps us to kind of plan the next year as well. One thing we do use is what's called a zero-based budget. So basically I take all of the money that comes into the household, whether it's from income or interest from the bank account or cash back from the credit cards, and then we tell it where to go. So we're telling every dollar where to go. So at the bottom of my template here, once we've told it where to go, there's going to be a zero, basically meaning we've told every dollar where to go. It doesn't mean you spend all of the money, it just means you have a plan for all of the money. The other thing we're more recently following is trying to get aligned with what's called the 60% solution. So with the 60% solution, you have 5 categories in your budget. The biggest category is 60%, and that's going to be your committed monthly expenses. So the goal is to get these at 60% or maybe even lower if you can. But also keep in mind that part of this number is going to include your taxes, your health insurance, any type of deductions you have from your paycheck will also be part of your monthly committed expenses. So that all of the other categories, basically everything is calculated before taxes. That gives you more money in the other categories. And also that helps you to keep track to see if you're getting a big refund back, you're paying too much in taxes, or if you're owing taxes, you're not taking enough out. So you definitely want to know what's happening with that money anyways. The other 4 categories you want to try to divide up evenly with 10%. So your one category is going to be your retirement. So whether you're doing a 401k or a Roth IRA or investing in real estate, rental properties, whatever it might be, that's your retirement. The other 10% is going to be long-term savings and or debt payoff. So if you're trying to pay off debt, or you're saving for a specific thing that's going to happen further out in the future, then you're going to have your short-term savings or yearly bills, or maybe some of that more irregular spending, and then lastly but not least, your fun category. So the goal is 10% in those areas. So we're actually shooting for 7% in all of our categories, and I'll kind of go over why we decided to do 7% instead of 10%. One of the main reasons is, if you see here, our committed monthly expenses, our estimate for the year is actually 62%. So obviously that's 2% more than where we want to go, but not too bad. And this is just an average. This fluctuates month to month, but for the year it's average 62%. The other reason is we really want to put more towards the debt payoff. So we're actually going to be doing, we're 17% towards debt payoff. And then the third reason is we are actually on track to make almost $100,000 for 2023. This is huge. For those of you who've been around for a long time on my channel, just back in 2016, we were only making like $30,000 a year. I wasn't working. I was a stay-at-home mom, and Ricky did not have any overtime at all. So we were just barely scraping by. So this is huge. So for us to jump up this high in income, I don't feel like we need $10,000 in each category. So I feel like 7%, around almost $7,000 in each category, will be sufficient enough for us to enjoy our money and make some good progress on some other things. Once the debt's paid off, then we'll have some other situations here. So one thing that has changed since my last update as far as income goes, Ricky did get a $2 an hour raise. So now his base pay is $32 an hour, or 40 hours a week is his base pay. So you can see that how we have it for each month. The months that we have an asterisk, because Ricky and myself, we get paid on Fridays, these months actually have 5 Fridays instead of 4 Fridays. So I put an asterisk so I can look at a glance, and then obviously you can see the amount of income changes. Also, the amount of expenses will change because we need to account for an extra week worth of groceries and gas and health insurance, that type of thing. So his base pay for 4-week months, we're looking at $5,120, and for a 5-week month, we're looking at $6,400. I just left that across the board like that. If you can see, April's highlighted. That's his yearly. That'll be his 1-year mark with this company. So I don't know, maybe he'll get a yearly review and get a raise, but that just kind of gives me a heads up about that. Now what we have on here is his overtime. So overtime for Ricky is time and a half, so that's $48 an hour. He averages 10 hours of overtime a week. Now they've done a few different things where they've had a few weeks with overtime. They've done some Saturdays, but they've also done it where they've worked 10-hour shifts Monday through Friday, and then maybe once a month they have Friday off, so maybe 1 week they don't have overtime. So for 2023, that's what I kind of did, was I budgeted his overtime with 1 week of no overtime on each month, just to kind of give us an idea. It's obviously updated on a per paycheck basis, but that's just to kind of give us an idea so we can kind of plan. So if we do have that money, what are we going to be putting it for? So basically we have like 3 weeks of overtime or 4 weeks of overtime, so we're looking at $1,440 or $1,920 worth of overtime. So you see here broken up, his base pay, we're looking at about $66,560. So if you think about it, 2016 he was making about $30,000, so he's basically doubled his base pay, but now he has the overtime, so he's getting about $19,200 worth of overtime. Another update from the last time I made a budget video, I was making $14 and I think it was 20 cents working at my daughter's school. I went back to Amazon, so I'm making $15.50 an hour. I'm going to make a separate video about why working at my daughter's school was the worst thing I could have done, but also the best thing I could have done. And I'll leave it at that for this video. And for those of you who know, I am now on a whole journey of my trying out the right ADHD medication. So hopefully I get on something that helps me keep my job a little bit longer, right? However, I did switch, even though I'm making more per hour back at Amazon, I did lower my overall hours. So at the school, I was doing 7 hours, then I lowered it to 5 hours, 5 days a week. At Amazon, I'm doing 4 days a week. I'm scheduled for 4-hour shifts, but during peak, we almost always flex up. So we usually do 5 hours. So I put on here 16 to 20 hours a week, but for the purpose of the budget, I only budgeted the 16, so that way I'm not expecting that extra pay. Also, because I'm only doing 4 days a week, I can pick up, if I wanted to pick up a 5th day, I easily could. Without having that stress. So I wanted to get my schedule set up with Amazon with the least amount of committed hours, if you will, and then I could pick up extra hours if I felt like it. So I'm looking at about $992 for the 4 weeks, and then 5-week months I'm looking at about $1,240. This will fluctuate because we do earn approved time off or unpaid time off. So during my daughter's summer break, so what I'm going to be trying to do is save up. I'm saving up all those hours. So I'm going to try to take off quite a bit of days for my daughter's summer break in June and July. So this is obviously probably going to be lower, but I'm also earning a little bit of paid time off that will be calculated in there as well. So we'll have to play with those numbers later on, but basically I'm estimating about $12,896 for the year. If you notice, I kind of took off my self-employment. So my YouTube income I am not calculating it for 2023 because I don't want to be reliant on any of that income. As you guys know, who've been around for a while, I get really into posting and then I kind of fall off. I get into posting, I fall off. So I don't want it to be, you know, it's just, I like trying to share updates with you guys, and hopefully I'm helping with these updates in some way, or even if I'm just motivating you guys. But you know how it goes. I'm not consistent enough, so I don't want to rely on that income on this budget. So most likely anything I make on there is just going to be kind of put aside in savings. The goal is to just put anything I make in savings for 2023, and then we'll just see what I end up having by the end of the year. Cash back for our Discover. So this is our credit card. We pay off our credit card balance every week, so we never have to pay the card interest, but we earn cash back. So right now we're averaging about $39 a month, so I just put $35 a month for next year. So we're looking at about maybe $420 worth of cash back for 2023. The interest of the bank account, last month we actually earned like $4 and something, so I would anticipate this number to be higher. I just did $2 a month just for the purpose of budgeting out the year, so we're like $24 of cash or of interest in our bank accounts. And then lastly, of our income that we're looking for 2023 is this $500 bonus roughly around March. So Amazon is giving me a $1,000 bonus for coming back because I got in during peak season. After I've been there for 1 month, I get $500, and then after 3 months, I get the other $500. So I just started like the middle of November, so I'm expecting maybe by the end of December, I should have the first $500. So that should be perfect time for Christmas. And then I'm just putting March. It might be like middle of March, or it might be middle of February. If I'm putting by March, should have the other $500 for that. Gift money, this is if we get money for holidays or birthdays. This is kind of, you know, obviously if something other income comes in, or if I want to try to document the cash flow of savings. So let's say I take money out of savings. Sometimes I'll put it here to show what I'm paying for. Sometimes I don't. We'll see. Tax refund, we are not expecting a tax refund for 2023. In fact, I'm thinking we might owe a little bit because when Ricky switched employers, we went like 6 months without investing, so we're not getting that tax deferment on that money that we would have. So we'll have to see, you know, we'll have to see what taxes look like, but I don't think we're going to get anything back. Hopefully we don't owe too much. Now I have been putting money in savings from my YouTube income specifically for taxes. So if we owe taxes, that's the first area of our savings the money would come out of. And then if we owe any more, we just cash flow it. So like I said, with all that combined, we're looking at about $99,600 for the year 2023, which is insane. We've come a very long way. We had food stamps, access insurance. We used to get food from the food bank, all kinds of stuff, and now we're rocking and rolling. But Ricky is very ambitious right now, and he's like, I want to be making $100,000 a year just by myself. So we'll see how that goes. So that brings us to our first category of spending, which is the retirement. So again, if you're trying to follow 60% solution, you're going to try to get to 10%. Our 10% would be a little too high, so we're shooting for 7%. So we have right now that we have Ricky's 401k, we officially had that start in October. So we just a few months into getting that. But we're doing 5%, and then he gets a 4% match, and that is he's getting that match every single paycheck, whereas his old employer, he only got the match once a year. It was basically like in June he would get one big lump sum of a match. So this one is a little bit better because we're getting that match as we go. So this is only 5% of his base pay and his overtime. It's not including 5% of the whole budget. So we're looking at about $328 to $416 a month being invested on his 401k. So it's about $4,288. And then the rest, to make up that 7%, we'll be putting into my Roth IRA. So we're looking at about $203 to about $290 into my Roth. So we're looking at about $2,684 into my Roth IRA. So the difference between a 401k and the Roth IRA. The 401k, this is tax deferred, meaning this lowers your taxable income now. When you go to retire and you go to take that money out, then you'll pay taxes at that time. It's under a stipulation that when you are retired, you'll be at a lower tax bracket. Will we? I don't know. We're not at a really high tax bracket anyway, so I don't know. Whereas the Roth IRA, you are already paying taxes now, so then you invest that money and then that all grows tax free, so then when you go to retire and take that money out, you're not paying taxes on that money. So that's kind of a little bit of the difference. So we're looking at about investing close to $6,972. So again, 7% of our income is what we will be investing for 2023. We do want to get up to the 10%, but I want to get some of the debt covered a little bit more. So then our next category, long-term savings. This would be like your emergency fund if you're trying to replace vehicles. So I put truck, car replacement, maybe investing it in a Roth for for 5 years, so you have to, and then you can take that money out. We're not adding anything into there for this year. We're going to focus solely on the finishing out the teardrop in the truck. So again, we're looking at about 17%. I did not calculate 17% first. I actually filled in this number after calculating the rest of my budget. So we're looking at around about $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Is what we should be able to pay off on the teardrop, or on the debts. So the teardrop will be paid off in March. We were originally going to have the teardrop paid off in 2022, and we were saving up for a rooftop tent for that teardrop. We actually ended up buying the rooftop tent. We've taken it out twice, so I do have some footage from that. I'm going to try to edit together for you guys. So I just pushed back that a little bit further. So we're looking at the rest of this money here going to help pay off my husband's truck. So we get to the committed monthly expenses. Like I said, we have our taxes and our health insurance. I put on here we may owe $600 to $1,000 for 2022. That's just an estimate from, I'm just trying to do my own calculation. I could be way off and maybe we don't owe anything. So we'll just see. I just want to be prepared to owe that. And again, that's because we were not investing for most of 2022. So the more that you can invest, the lower your taxes will be, just so you know. So you might as well invest. Like if I had to pay that $1,000, I should have just put that $1,000 in my own retirement account instead of paying taxes on it, right? But it is what it is. So these will adjust as we see, as the months go on. But basically, we have what the standard percents are for Medicare and Social Security, and then Arizona State, we're at 1.3% is our election. We estimate our federal taxes, what comes out of every paycheck, is about 2%, just because of having the health insurance and having the investments, and then we do have 2 children, so they kind of take those dependents into account for every single paycheck. So the company figures that out. I don't know exactly how that's figured out, but that gets paid. And then we have our family life insurance is about $5.02 a week. So this does fluctuate. Like I said, if we have an extra paycheck or not. Ricky's long-term disability is going to start in April. And then our health insurance for 2022, our health insurance is $87.66 a week. I do not know if that number is going to change. Normally I do all of that. I handle all of that for my husband, but this time they had to go in and have a nicotine test done because he quit smoking, and then we get a discount on our health insurance for not being smokers. So when he went in to do the nicotine test for the next year, he basically just signed a paper saying keep everything the same. So I'm hoping the pricing is still the same. I don't know. I won't really know till we get that first paycheck in January. But we pay about $350 a month for the 4-week paychecks, and about $438 for the 5-week paychecks. So you can kind of just see, what taxes are here. Again, you just keep note of that for yourself. So we're paying about 10% of our income towards taxes on a weekly basis, and then again with tax time, We are married filing jointly, so we have the big standard deduction, we have the 2 children, and then we do invest to help lower taxes. So that's kind of how we're able to keep taxes down low for us. The biggest thing is if any of our income starts getting pushed into the next tax bracket, we will just be investing more. So what I might end up doing, if we do end up owing, I might, instead of doing the $200 to the Roth, I may just put it into the 401k. We'll have to see how that is going. My next little group of expenses within our monthly committed expenses are anything related to the household. Now, some of these expenses are necessities and some of them are not, but they are expenses that we are committed to paying every single month, so I put them in this category. The first one is our mortgage. So this is the principal, the interest, the property tax, and the homeowner's insurance. It's $1,435.96. This could go up slightly because if your property tax goes up or your homeowner's insurance goes up, then it could offset that. But we just have that the same across the board. Groceries, we did increase our grocery budget because everything kind of went up. So last year I was doing, for 2022, I was doing $100 a week. I did up it to $120 a week. So you'll see we have $480 a month or $600 a month, depending on how many weeks we have. Our electric, we are budgeting $60 a month, every single month. Now here's the deal. If I look at last year, I took what we spent last year and I averaged it through 12 months, and we're spending about $62 on average. So I did 60. These first few are actually going to be lower than 60, but I'm going to make sure I put some of that money into savings to cover the months that are higher. I wanted to do that last year. I didn't do that, so this year I am going to try to make sure I do that. Our solar payment is $81 a month. That is just our contract, so that's what it is. That does not change. Our water, sewer, trash, we've been averaging about $72, $73. I'm just leaving it at $75. So I have added back my cell phone. So my cell phone is $30 and the internet is $102.20. I was paying for that with my YouTube income, but again, for 2023, I do not want to be relying on that income, so I brought it back to the personal budget. When tax time comes for next year, I can still write off these expenses from my YouTube income. It will just be I just have to look at different things when I'm filing taxes. But for now, I'm just doing that. So our cell phones, we have 3 cell phones, family plan, so it's $90 a month. Our Netflix is currently $16.93. This might go up, this goes up slightly every year. Same thing, our internet, the $102.20. This goes up a little bit every year. Last year it went up so much that I lowered our internet speed just to keep to keep the bill the same. But I mean, that is what it is. So again, you can just see this, it's the same. These bills are pretty much the same. They are not affected whether we have 4 weeks or 5 weeks. It's just the food that would be affected. My next grouping in here is anything related to the vehicles. So we have our insurance. So we have a truck, a car, a teardrop trailer, and a motorcycle. The motorcycle is paid yearly, so that's $70 in August. Everything else is paid together, and this did go up last year. So we're at $281.67. I think we paid like $223. And it went up to $280. So that kind of sucks, but that is what it is. And then you can see here in August we're at $351 because we add that yearly bill of the $70. Gas, we were doing $90 a week, but now that I'm at Amazon and my daughter's school, I actually have to drive them a little farther to school, so I'm driving more. So we increased the gas to $100 a week for 2023. This one does fluctuate based on the week. So we have 4 weeks, $400, or 5 weeks, $500. So we have that planned out for the year. And then we have my husband's truck payment, which is $591.97 every month. And then you can see the teardrop. Again, we're gonna have that paid off. So $117.18 will only be paid for 3 months of next year, and then that bill will be done. We are bringing back our daughter's chore money. So I did not have this last year. We just weren't managing our money as well last year, and I'm hoping that we're going to stay a little more on track. In the past is my daughters can earn their age in dollars every week. So my older daughter is 11 until like mid-February, and my younger daughter is 8 until August, like end of August. So they can earn $11 a week or $8 a week, and I have a list of chores and how much they're worth, so they can pick and choose what chores they want to do. They can earn their money or they can not earn their money. What I'm going to do differently this year, similar to the other bills I mentioned up here, even if they do not do the chores and earn their money that week, I'm going to put that money in savings. And if they don't earn it, it's going to go into the long-term savings to go towards bigger purchases for them in the future, maybe helping them purchase their first car or something like that. Now, if they earn it, it will go into their own bank account, and that will be divided between spending and saving for them. So Arcadia can earn around, basically, we'll say around $48-$60 a month, and Elsa can earn about, $36 to $40 a month roughly. So we'll see how they end up doing, but we can see here about $600 or $400 will go to them specifically. The other category is short-term savings or yearly bills, kind of like the irregular spending. Maybe you need to save up a little bit for a bigger purchase, things like that. So we have our registration here, and I have each vehicle, how much it's due, and when. I did have a viewer ask me before, like, how do you know so far in advance what it is? Well, here in Arizona, they moved everything online, so I can already see how much next year's bills the registration is. I cannot renew it until, I think I can renew it as like 6 months before, but I do know the amounts. So what I did with these is when I do have the extra month, the extra paycheck month, that's when I went ahead and just put that money there. So we have $232.56 will be for my car registration, $308.99 will be for Ricky's truck registration, and then $230.23 is for the teardrop registration. So we're looking at $771. So 2022, our registration for the year was like 900 and something. So it's gone down. Then what we did basically to balance out the rest of that 7%, I just put $200 a month across the board for our personal pet care giving. And then the rest I put in household maintenance projects, things like that. So this is, I put maintenance all, meaning house maintenance and vehicle maintenance. So the goal again is that I don't want to spend, this $500 every month, but I want to start putting it in savings of what I'm not spending. Now, Ricky and I do have our chiropractor memberships, so that does come out of the personal care. And then if we were to cancel those, we'd have more money, or whatever's left over goes into savings, and then we can save up for haircuts and toiletry items, Christmas and all that. So actually what we do here for Christmas, we always budget an extra like $500 for all the gift cards and stuff that we send out. So again, we're looking at about $6,972. Our monthly expenses for the year, our committed monthly expenses, again, these are necessities and non-necessities, but we're looking at $61,592, so 62%. So our last category is our fun category. So again, we're doing about 7%. Eating out, we don't eat out at like restaurants very often, but we do eat out fast food minimum once a week. So I budgeted once a week, $30 once a week, just for 4 weeks. So on the months where we have a 5 week, where we have the extra week, I'm going to try to be like, hey, let's not eat out that week. I used to do $25 a week, but realistically, when we go to fast food, we're usually spending closer to $30. Events, I put $25 every month. Again, this is money that I anticipate to go into savings and then kind of save up for a few events throughout the year. Adult drinks for the house, we usually budget about $25 a week. Actually, since I started taking my ADHD medication, I haven't really been drinking, so that number might go down, and we just put that into something else. Myself, I didn't budget anything specifically, Ricky does get his NOS energy drinks. Those are, he buys a pack of 8. That's about $12 a week. So those are the things that are like anticipated. Again, these numbers can be shifted or moved depending on what we're spending it on. We do have weekend trips or camping. So we do want to plan a few trips. So I just did $100 out of a few months that we would end up going camping. Everything else to make up the 7% in here is vacation savings. So $200, $400, you know, roughly $200 a month. And we do have my mom coming out in May. So I already bought her flight ticket from Michigan to here. And then I've already reserved the cabin up in Sedona that we're staying at. So I did have to pay 1 night for a deposit for that. So I already paid that. So the rest of this will be money saved up until, you know, about May, and then that money will be spent when my mom comes, and then we will finish saving out some money for the rest of the year, and either do another little mini trip or save it up, because we still really do want to take an Alaska cruise, maybe in like 2025. So I don't know, we'll see. But either way, we're looking at about $3,000 for vacation type stuff. Again, we might be spending about half of that, and then about $400 for little camping trips, and then everything else is kind of most likely will be spent pretty much monthly. But again, we're about $6,972 for that category. So that gives me zeros. I've told everything where to go. That's what we're looking at for 2023. Yeah, so we've come a long way. I'm really hoping to stay in our categories. Right now, I have, I kind of started a new 12-week goal year, if you will. It's a 12-week year. So I started a new one. So one of them was with paying off the debt. I would wait till the end of the month and see what was left over, and then be like, okay, I'm going to pay that on the debt. Even if I started with more in the original budget, we'd end up still spending part of it. So I wouldn't actually end up paying off as much as I said I was going to pay off. So I decided I needed to break it down even smaller to weekly goals. So I said $400 a week, and then we'll have the teardrop paid off when, you know, by the end of March, like I want to have it paid off. So I think that's better for me. So sometimes with the 12-week year goals, it's better. You obviously want a yearly plan, but then you want to break it down to monthly, and you want to break it down to weekly. So with that, you guys, I do go on my budget every single week. I have my budget template that shows the month and every single paycheck. So I will be bringing those videos back. I'm hoping I'll be consistent for you guys for 2023. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.